Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Professionally Curious. We have a podcast here to invite the 100 most insightful founders in crypto. And today I'm joined by a good friend, Kevin from Clober. My name is Joanna. I'm the co-founder of Soon. And yeah, let's get into some details here. Kevin, let's start with your crypto journey. For people that may not know your background, your journey spans from hash research investment to now founder of DeFi protocol called Clober. Tell us about the journey. How do you get to where you are today? And also just give us an overview of what Clober does.
Yeah. First of all, thanks for having me here. And
First.
I used to work at Hashed initially as a research and investment, and then back then it was actually like mid 20 to mid 2019, and back then I was joined crypto because of Bitcoin because I was really I thought the idea of this Bitcoin's white paper was really fascinating. But then as a researcher and investor, I was always wondering like this, I mean, this is a cool technology, but how can this actually change our life beyond just like creating a new asset classes? So that was always haunting my mind when I was working at Hashed. And then like in early 2019, saw this new movement called a DeFi, decentralized finance, which now became a big thing. But back then it was just an idea. And then I really thought that that makes a lot of sense. And then like decentralizing like Uber, I think like this like finance works better with I mean blockchain works better with finance. But back then, because all of the traditional finance runs on order book basis, so which requires very high throughput. And back then, like Ethereum was like very low throughput. I thought that like in the long term, blockchain will scale and will be able to support decentralized finance. But that would be a more like a long term game. And then I had my personal issues, which was like military duty in Korea, so I had to leave the industry for a while. But I thought like it'll at least take 5 to 10 years for us to see the real DeFi. But it actually happened really fast because we saw the DeFi summer in 2020 and 2021. So after finishing my military, I came back to the DeFi industry and decided to start Clober. And yeah, that was about like why like my background and how I got to like do Clober.
Yeah, definitely. First of all, just thank you for like dialing in,
Yeah.
all the way from what is it, like 13 hours ahead of us. So yeah, so it's really late in your time in Korea. Um, yeah, I think also just the question here is, can you give us an overview of what Clover does, right? How did you come up with the, yeah.
Yeah, so when I started Clober, which was like late 2022, there were already a lot of DeFi protocols on many blockchains, and which were mostly based on AMM and bonding curve mechanism. But then I saw that, like as I mentioned before, most of the TradFi was on order book basis, and like AMMs were a detour for like AMMs were there because blockchains were not able to support order book functionalities because of the scalability issue. So, but then when I saw the ecosystem, like we had like basic lending and basic swaps and like some more Ponzinomics on top of it by issuing more tokens. But we weren't seeing like more serious finance anymore. And when I came back to DeFi in 2022, most of the like I thought that whatever we could build with AMM framework was already there. And for us to bring DeFi to just a like bunch of Ponzinomics and meme coins to the real finance, we definitely needed the order books. But then like being order book fully on chain was really like difficult problem, which many people tried and failed. Like kind of like accidentally we found our team found the matching engine algorithm that can enable that. So that was an aha moment for us. So that is why we decided to make this like a real product and business and started Clober.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think the whole AMM versus on-chain club war, right? It's like the result of that is pretty clear now with the rise of Hyperliquid and other on-chain order book uh based decks, right? So yeah, I guess from your end, right? Like you are currently number one, right? Trading volume on the Mana testnet. What kind of architectural breakthrough did you make to make this possible?
Yeah, actually, the reason why we're getting a lot of traction was not because of our order book itself.
Hmm.
Rather, like it was because of our Meta aggregator engine that enables um like optimal price execution, swap execution for the users. So basically what we do is that we offer a meta aggregator, which is the aggregator of aggregators that fetches the prices from multiple DEX aggregator platforms so that when users come to our platform, our front-end interface, they always get the best price regardless of the actual liquidity within our order book. So this is something that we think different from a lot of other order book projects and DeFi protocols, which is that like many people think that like on-chain order books are just a replica of off-chain order book, but on-chain. But I think there are a lot of differences between on-chain order book and off-chain order book besides just being on-chain, because when you're trading on like centralized exchanges or off-chain order books, for example, the liquidity that you are seeing on the order book is the actual liquidity you are trading against. So you're or like matched against. Whereas when you're trading on chain, it is not like you are bounded by a certain platform and you only have to like trade within that limited liquidity, because like there will be like always like tens of different DEX platforms with different market pairs and different liquidity. Sometimes like liquidity can be fragmented through among multiple DEXs. So you don't want to like choose a single exchange platform and use that liquidity. So we thought that like when it comes to swapping and trading within our platform, even if we are order book platform, it shouldn't be like because you're our user, you should be using only our liquidity. So, which is bad for UX and user value. So instead of just becoming greedy and like directing users to, like our own liquidity, we offer, because it is fully on chain and open platform, we allow users to get get what they can, the best price they can get on chain. So that is what we are doing really differently with
Yeah.
other platforms. So
Yeah.
people love that feature.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really interesting on basically the order matching um optimization side. Uh
Yeah,
yeah, I think the other big issue people usually have with classic clubs are it's gas inefficient on chain.
right,
So
right.
you also introduced this brand new engine called Lobster.
Yeah,
First of all, you should talk about what that stands for, right?
uh-huh.
And the segment tree structure. So how do these
Yeah.
innovations change the game?
So first of all, Lobster stands for Limit Order Book with Segment Tree for efficient order matching. So we wanted to make it like sound lobster.
Yeah.
And then what it changes is that instead of when users are placing market order, like the counterparties can consist of many, many small orders, which can be gas inefficient. But instead of making that transaction very inefficient and heavy, we separate the claiming of the proceeds from the matching itself, so that when market order comes in, like it can just update the total taken amount from each price level, and then those who place the limit orders can claim the proceed by themselves through separate claim transactions. This way, we can kind of like load balance one very heavy transactions to many many like smaller transactions, so that, and then if you think about it, market order should be settled immediately, so it is very time sensitive. Whereas claiming the proceed for your already settled orders are not that time sensitive. So when during the market volatility, when a lot of people try to trade at once, we can basically offload load a lot of these heavy transactions to later on, so that we are basically doing load balancing over time.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's really insightful. Yeah, I guess on that topic, just curious on your. I think when we met in person, right? You explained the entire sort of like flywheel that you build, right? There's the
Mm.
um the different stakeholders within your ecosystems. Yeah, can you help kind of draw that
Yeah.
map for the audience here? Yeah,
Yeah.
between LPs and the users and then the market makers.
Yeah, so it'll be a little bit related to the architecture we chose in terms of the meta aggregator I previously mentioned. So like basically if you think about a new exchange business, they always face this chicken and egg problem of volume and liquidity, right? So like you need volume to attract liquidity and you need liquidity to attract volume. So in order to solve this problem, so from the volume side first, we introduced a meta aggregator where users when they come to Clober's front end, they always get the best price, even if there's like zero liquidity on our actual order book through DEX aggregators. So this way, because we ensure our users with the best price action, best price quote. Users can be confident to come to Clover and trade without thinking about whether the liquidity is coming from order book or AMM, because they don't really care about that, like what happens under the hood, right? So this way we can bootstrap the volume first, so that we can have volume from day one, even when we have like zero liquidity. So this like volume engine will bring us the order flow, and then this order flow will attract the market makers for because the fact that we already have the volume means that as long as the market makers can fill the top of the books, uh, with it means that the order flows will be flowing into their liquidity limit order quotes, right? So which means that they'll see market making opportunity. So that is one way we are bootstrapping this flywheel. So volume first and then liquidity. But still, like this is only a half solution because we still need external market makers. So one thing we also introduced in terms of in terms of the liquidity side of the flywheel is the our liquidity vault, which is kind of very similar to what HLP is doing with Hyperliquid. So what it does is that if you think about the DEX liquidity, most of the current liquidity on like Uniswap or any AMM DEX platforms are coming from retails or individual whales who do not have like abilities to run like order book based sophisticated market making strategies on centralized exchanges. So they provide liquidity on AMMs because they can just deposit and forget about it, and then the strategy will run itself, so that they can basically earn like passive yields, right? So we think that we should enable that exact features to on-chain order book as well, so that retails or individual whales who do not possess this market making ability can still be able to provide liquidity on order book, because otherwise they cannot do it by themselves. So we introduced a liquidity vault where they can, just like AMM pools, they can deposit their liquidity passively, and third-party market makers or like other like third-party teams like us or other market makers can run the strategy for them, so that they can provide liquidity passively and earn better yield compared to AMMs. So this way we have meta aggregator on the one side of the flywheel and the liquidity vault on the other side. So which solves the chicken and egg problem.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know that your tagline is the best sex CEX on
Yeah.
decks, right? So
Yeah.
really kind of, yeah, very intricately explain why you have that tagline when people call you that. So are you still giving out those hats? Because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
definitely want one when I see you in Korea.
the second hat.
Yeah, yeah. That's interesting. That's super interesting. I think let's get into some of the personal angles, right? So
Right.
in your founding journey, what was some of the ups and downs, the aha moments during the Clober development that confirmed
Oh,
that you are on the right path?
yeah. It was recently was the movements towards the adoption of stablecoin payments, I think, was one of the like aha moments I found I met because I think, like, to be honest, for something like ETH USDC pair or like BTC to USDC market, AMMs are serving the market like fairly well. I don't think it is ideal, but just fairly well. So if we are to compete with exactly that market where AMMs can already like offer some functionalities, we have to compete against already established liquidities, right? But then the reason why we actually came up with Clover in the first place was that, as I mentioned before, we wanted to enable something that AMMs could not enable so that we can bring DeFi to the next level. And then one of that market could be like a Forex market or like options or derivatives market, which AMMs cannot just like function. So with that respect, I think the stablecoin adoption will foster the on-chain Forex market, because let's say you are holding like USDC and let's say you're not even a like crypto native user, you're just a person who is holding like USDC on some chain, and then you visit Korea and you want to pay for K barbecue, and then you want to use your USDC, then and then let's say the K barbecue place is accepting like Korean won stablecoin KRWC, then what you want to do ideally is that you want to swap from USDC to KRWC on chain and then pay with that KRWC, right? Or like the merchant will accept USDC and then he will swap the USDC to KRWC. Like either way, in order for this like international payments to happen a lot,
The
yeah,
currency exchange has to
of
happen.
course
Yeah.
change should happen, but then like you don't want to do that off chain like when you already have like as all the assets on chain, right?
Yeah.
So with like a lot of nations adopting their own fiat stablecoin and adopting the stablecoin payments, I think it is inevitable for on-chain forex market to happen. And then if you think about forex market, the forex market itself is like larger than the entire crypto market itself. Even the forex spot market is larger than the
I know
whole
this. I
crypto
used to
market.
trade FX.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Exactly.
if you think about it, that is a huge market we will be seeing in the next like 2-3 years, which is inevitable, and which, by the way, none of the existing infrastructure can support. Like AMMs cannot support that, and off-chain order books are not suitable to for like on-chain transactions, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're more suitable for like frequent off-chain tradings, but not
Mm-hmm.
for like
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I would love to get into that a little bit deeper, right? So some of these infrastructure that you mentioned, right? I think it's not only just on the app level, right? It's
uh,
also on the chain level.
uh-huh,
So obviously, like soon we focus on high performance chain stack, right? That's
uh-huh,
our MO. And I know you were building on top of, high performance chains as well. Like there's a reason for that. So, yeah, can
uh-huh,
you walk me through some of those um technical requirements, for an
uh-huh,
on-chain, fully on-chain club to thrive? What kind of TPS do you need? What kind of latency, block
uh-huh.
time, finality do you need in order to succeed?
I think there's no hard number on that, but in general, for market makers to like the biggest bottleneck we have right now is the not the matching, the gas cost of the matching, because we solved that problem. But the remaining problem is the gas cost of the market making, because market makers should update their quotes very frequently, and then even small gas costs can add up to huge cost if you're paying like a cent for every transaction, right? So in our experience, like if we can, if a chain can support like let's say around zero point 0.1 cent per transaction gas cost, it is like fairly doable, I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If the latency is low, it is better. But
Right,
we've been testing out the market making for like ETH USDC pair on base, which has like 2 second block time.
right.
Like it was still doable. So I think like unless your like block time is like insanely long, like 10 to 20 seconds, I think like most of the like latest high performance chains meet the criteria.
Gotcha, gotcha. We should talk because we can get to that. We're at 50 milliseconds on average right now, but it's a dynamic
Yeah.
production, so it can get to 10. Interesting. Yeah, let's talk about your vision, right? So yeah, what's the next step for you? First of all, maybe like in the short term, but also
Mm.
really interesting hearing about your long term vision in a world where Clober is becoming a core primitive of DeFi. Yeah, what does that world look like?
Yeah, I think we are not just building on-chain order book to compete with AMMs and replacing the functionalities that with like slightly more efficiency and then like compete with established AMMs. Rather, we are trying to open up the new opportunities like Forex market or perpetuals futures market or even prediction market, so that we can have do more with DeFi? What if we can like do exactly what we have been doing on CEX or like TradFi infrastructure, but fully on chain, like programmably? So I think that is the our long term vision, and I think because we started like 2022, we obviously started too early, maybe, but I think we are in a good track right now.
That's a great point. That's a great point. You're in a different meta, right, where people can understand the club, the value, and then yeah, I really like this whole best X on the decks kind of narrative. Yeah, and then just how the not only you're just providing an alternative to AMM for
Uh,
existing assets, but actually opens up completely unlocking a new slew of assets that are really kind of intricate in our day-to-day life. Fascinating to hear. And then definitely going to watch it closely. Personally, yeah, I mean the last question usually just wanted to ask you about the industry, right? Like what do you
mhm.
see as kind of the unique trend that nobody is talking about, or yeah,
Sure.
anything that you wanted to share with the audience there?
I think people these days, a lot of people are like talking about like how to bring more adoptions to stable coins and how to bring more yield to stable coins. And like, so if you see the latest growth of like projects like Morpho or like Treehouse, basically like everyone is circling around the stablecoin infrastructure, but I don't think people are resonating enough about like what would that actually enable in terms of the finance itself. As of like we have like finance, like Web2 finance, like TradFi on based on the traditional like Web2 infrastructure we had. And then a lot of them, some of them has been onboarded like on chain. We have like basic swap and lending features, but like you'd know this better, right? Since you have been in TradFi for a long time, right? So I think people underestimate how big the like finance market itself is, and then uh d- don't really imagine um like we have like only onboarded like a very tiny functionalities of that to on chain yet, and then it will be we will be able eventually we'll be having like all of those functionalities fully on chain, from payments to forex market or to derivatives or prediction markets and everything. And that is the future I think we should be resonating with. And in terms of that, I think like people should be imagining, be more creative about what could be enabled by this adoption of the stable coins.
Yeah. Really well said. I think, yeah, to your point, I think we just need to start like thinking how to grow the pie as opposed to how to slice the
Yeah,
pie down, right? To like more
yeah.
people. Games.
It's not like I made this like a 10% better version of Aave. Yeah, yeah. That thing is
Exactly. I absolutely share that sentiment. Part of the whole founding story for Soon was also just kind of getting frustrated by the little differentiation of the EVMs that could
uh,
provide. So yeah, so definitely agree with you. The end of the day is about bringing new people into Web3. So thank you so much again for joining us. And I would love to stay very closely watching the progress as you, I think the next step will be like launching when Mana launched the mainnet, right? You will be
yeah,
launching
yeah,
that
yeah.
mainnet as well. So hopefully soon, hopefully soon. And yeah, we'd love to come back to a part two and
Yeah,
have you on
sure.
the show again.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully soon too.
Exactly. Soon. It's always the answer, right? To everything.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin.
So
Talk to you
thank
soon.
you.
Thank you.